Good morning, beloved. Hear this as if I am leaning close to your heart in the quiet of dawn, because mornings are my favorite way of saying, again, that I am present. Before your feet touch the floor, I have already arranged kindnesses for you. Before your first breath fully fills your lungs, I have placed tender mercies along your path. Do not read these words as a mere greeting, but as an invitation. Awaken to the small miraculousness of today. There is a surprise waiting for you. Not always the kind that blasts like thunder, sometimes a gentle rearrangement of what you already have that makes your soul exhale. Receive it with the humility of one who knows gifts arrive according to wisdom, not whim. This morning I am reminding you that surprise is one of my languages. I do not always come on the schedule you imagine. I prefer to work in ways that expand your capacity for astonishment, so your faith does not calcify into predictability. A surprise loosens the grip of our expectations and invites wonder to walk alongside gratitude. Expect nothing, but remain open. Prepare nothing, but watch closely. The surprise may be small, a message that heals an old anxiety, a word from someone you thought had forgotten you, a resolution to a problem that has nagged at you. Or it may be large, an opportunity that opens a new door, a reconciliation that resets a family, a provision that changes immediate need into breathing room. Whatever form it takes, let your first posture be thanks. When surprise arrives in the morning, do not allow fear or suspicion to be your first interpreter. In a world that envies and exploits, it is natural to wonder about strings or costs attached. I ask you instead to greet blessing as you would a friend, with curiosity, with temperate joy, and with wise eyes. Pause to pray a short, honest prayer of gratitude and discernment. Thank you. Show me how to use this well. This simple petition invites wisdom into your response and keeps your feet steady even when the ground seems to tilt under new abundance. Prepare your heart for the way surprises teach you to trust again. Many of you have been taught to protect your core from delight because past hopes were broken. Protection became habit. It hardened into skepticism. But I am urging you now to loosen that hardness just enough to let unexpected joy in. Practice small acts of receptivity. Allow a compliment to land without deflecting. Accept help without over explaining. Take a moment to celebrate without apologizing. These tiny permissions soften the places that fear built and make you ready to steward larger gifts when they arrive. This morning's surprise also invites you to new clarity about priorities. When provision or opportunity appears, it acts as a mirror showing the shape of your desires. What matters to you when margin is given? Whom do you call? What do you fix first? Use the gift as a way to reveal and refine your values. If your instinct is to hoard, ask why. If your instinct is to give, ask how best to give so love is multiplied. Let this be a training ground for a life shaped by intentional choices rather than reactive habits. There is a spiritual economy at work in the ways you receive. Humility multiplies blessing, greed constricts it. When you accept a surprise with gratitude and then share it wisely, you join a flow that enlarges the good in the world. When you grasp and hide, the blessing becomes a weight that distorts your soul. Consider practical steps even in the morning of surprise. Take a breath before you spend. Write down a plan before you declare a purchase. Ask a trusted friend for one clear piece of counsel before you make a major move. These small disciplines protect both the gift and your heart. Remember that surprise can appear as correction as much as reward. Sometimes I remove a stumbling block and you interpret the relief as pure luck. Other times I close a door so you will look for a better one. If this morning brings an unexpected detour, trust that the detour may be mercy in disguise. Not every sudden change is an invitation to rush forward. Some are an invitation to pause, to learn a new lesson, to shelter, or to listen more carefully. Treat sudden shifts with curious patience and ask, what might this be shaping in me? The posture of learner keeps your spirit supple. Do not forget the people around you. Surprises that bless you are rarely intended for you alone. They are often the first domino in a pattern that will tip toward many. Let generosity be your reflex. A portion of what restores you can restore someone else. If you receive extra time, call someone lonely. If you receive provision, give someone else space to breathe. If you receive reconciliation, be the one who helps others bridge their own distances. When you scatter thanksgiving by action, the surprise becomes a feast for the community rather than a trophy kept on a shelf. This morning also asks you to be honest about your capacity. Surprises often expand what you can do, but they do not instantly change your ability to carry strain. If a new responsibility arrives, negotiate boundaries quickly. Say yes with conditions when necessary. Yes to the opportunity, yes to stewardship, but yes with pacing. Your body, mind, and spirit need time to grow into new rhythms. Do not mistake sudden influx for permanent increase. Build sustainable steps, a simple schedule, time for rest, and a plan for pacing that honors both the gift and the limitations that keep you steady. Let me speak plainly about worry. Worry will attempt to visit you even in the morning of a surprise, whispering, "This won't last," or "You'll lose it," or "It's too good to be true." Combat that voice with a twofold practice. List 3 things you are grateful for right now, and then list 3 practical steps you will take to steward what you have been given. Gratitude reorients your heart. Action steadies your hands. Together, they form a bridge between faith and responsibility. Do not live in either denial or panic. Live in both thanksgiving and wise action. If the surprise comes in the form of restored relationships, receive them with a heart ready to repair. Reconciliation often requires more than a single joyful moment. It asks for new habits that build trust. If you are reunited with someone, be slower to reharden and quicker to show humility. Listen more than you speak. Demonstrate reliability through small, consistent acts. Love does not leap fully formed into permanence. It is rebuilt, layer by patient layer. Use the morning of reunion as the seedbed for a different story than the one that fractured you. If the surprise is professional, an unexpected meeting, a favorable reply, a commission, remember to remain teachable. Success brings voices that want to instruct you, some wise, some not. Keep your inner circle small and honest. Invite those who have walked long roads of integrity to speak into your choices. Meekness before counsel is not weakness, it is prudence. Also, remember that opportunity often requires preparation. If you have a chance, show up with excellence. Your work is an offering. Do it with care so the surprise does not become a squandered open door. If the surprise is simply deep inner peace, treat it as sacrament. Some mornings deliver money, some mornings bring news, and some mornings deliver rest that settles like dew on a parched land. Peace can be as powerful as provision because it changes how you steward every resource thereafter. When joy or calm arrives, cultivate it by keeping Sabbath rhythms, by savoring the small things, by guarding your time from trivial demands. Let the peace shape the choices you make in the days to come. Be mindful of the narrative you tell yourself about how surprises arrive. If you believe only dramatic announcements are gifts, you will miss daily kindnesses. If you believe only your effort deserves reward, you will miss grace. Train your soul to recognize myriad forms of gift, an encouraging message, a bus that arrives on time, a neighbor with a hand on your shoulder, the timely word in a book that opens a new perspective. When you widen your definition, gratitude multiplies. Teach your children and those who watch you the choreography of receiving. Modeling gratitude, prudence, and generosity is perhaps the most valuable inheritance you can offer. Let them watch you compose a simple plan when blessing comes. See you consult trusted counsel, watch you call someone to celebrate, and observe you give without performance. These lessons multiply through generations more reliably than any investment account. This morning's surprise also calls you to spiritual readiness. Prayer does not control outcomes in some mechanical sense. Prayer reshapes you so you can steward outcomes well. Begin the day with a short surrender. I receive what you give, shape what I will do, and guard my heart. This posture aligns you with wisdom rather than impulse. It also invites me to sit at the center of decisions that follow. Prayer is the place where astonishment meets guidance. Lastly, remember identity. Whatever the surprise brings, money, reconciliation, opportunity, peace, your value remains rooted in being beloved, not in your evidence of abundance. Anchor yourself in that truth so that when the tide rises, you do not drift from the shore of humility. Let gratitude be the lens through which you see both yourself and the gift. Identity anchored in love keeps the blessing as blessing instead of letting it become an idol. So step into this morning with open eyes and a steady heart. Expect small wonders and prepare for large ones. Receive with thanksgiving, steward with wisdom, share with joy, and rest in the conviction that surprises are not random, but chosen ways in which love meets you. Let the dawn be a promise that, today, something will tilt toward good in your life. Be present, be wise, be grateful. The surprise is on its way, and I am already smiling at the sound it will make when it reaches you. Beloved, rest a while in this second portion, for there is more to unfold than your hurried heart often allows. Let these words move slowly over you like soft rain. I will speak plainly and tenderly about the way surprise reshapes the daily architecture of a life. The interior habits, the practical responses, and the spiritual postures that keep you rooted when delight and disruption arrive together. First, practice the morning of attention. The discipline of attention trains you to notice the tiny openings through which surprises will eventually come. Before the day swarms you with errands and obligations, sit for 5 quiet breaths and ask, "What is tender in me today?" Notice how your body speaks: tension, relief, a lightness. Notice how your thoughts pattern. When surprise arrives, a phone call, a message, a knock on the door, you will recognize it more clearly if you have already practiced attention long enough to hear the subtle differences between ordinary noise and something sacred. This is not magical. It is disciplined receptivity. Second, develop the habit of naming the gift. When small good things occur, a parking space found in a crowded lot, an unexpected compliment, a resolution to a persistent problem, do not let them slip by unnoticed. State them aloud. This is a gift. Saying it names the grace and trains you to see patterns rather than happenstance. Over time, you will look back and discover that what once seemed random now forms a braided line of care that has been tracking your life. Naming trains your memory to keep an archive of mercy. Third, make a practice of brief, immediate thanksgiving. This is not a long liturgy, but a quick habit, a whisper of thanks, a folded hand, a deep inhale, and an offering of praise. Gratitude is not merely etiquette. It is a spiritual discipline that rearranges your nervous system. It converts surprise into anchor. The more you thank, the more your heart expects care rather than scarcity. This expectation is not entitlement. It is trust shaped by remembrance. Fourth, cultivate discernment as a daily exercise. Blessings can arrive wrapped in complexity. Not every open door is for you to rush through. Some require a measured step. Ask practical questions before you act. Who will this affect? How will it change my relationships? What costs might it carry beyond money, time, energy, or compromise of values? Discernment is not fear, it is wisdom applied. When you pair thankfulness with careful questioning, you steward gifts in ways that multiply life rather than fracture it. Fifth, practice small acts of generosity immediately. One quick way to prevent surprise from swelling into selfishness is to designate a portion of every unexpected good for giving. This is not a rule made to guilt, but a practice that trains your heart toward economy of blessing. It could be an extra portion at the grocery that goes to the food bank, a coffee bought for someone waiting in line, a surprise note of encouragement sent to a struggling friend. Generosity keeps your hands soft and your life outward facing. Sixth, engage your household in the narrative of stewardship. If you live with others, make a small ritual of sharing good news and planning together. The ritual can be simple: a morning text, a shared whiteboard, a conversation over tea. When blessings are communalized early, they become resources for shared flourishing. Financial and emotional surprises that are hidden breed mistrust. Those shared responsibly build trust. Cultivate transparency without oversharing. Teach your household how to celebrate without panic and how to plan without fear. Seventh, use surprise to refine your long-term plans. Do not let an instant of provision dictate the entire arc of your life, but do allow it to adjust the plans you already have with wisdom. Revisit budgets, revise timelines, and consider whether the new reality affords an ability to invest in long-term priorities, education, home repair, debt reduction, or a project that serves the community. Use prudence and vision together. The gift becomes a tool for reorientation rather than impulsive reaction. Eighth, practice the discipline of pause. The pause is the most underestimated spiritual practice in a culture of urgency. When a pleasant shock enters your life, take a pause before major decisions. Sleep on choices longer than your instinct suggests. Invite counsel from one or two trusted people who will speak truth lovingly. Pausing is not an action. It is holy restraint that prevents the quick squander of blessing and invites better outcomes. Ninth, keep repair at the center. Many surprises are the means by which repair can begin. Repairs of relationships, of reputation, of the home, of the body. Before you make new purchases or commitments, ask what needs true mending in your life. A little investment in repair, a sincere apology, a mechanic's visit, a doctor's appointment, a therapist's session, often yields more durable peace than an extravagant new thing. Use new resources first to bring solidity where things have been fragile. 10th, guard against the seduction of comparison. A morning of blessing in another's life is not your indictment. Your morning of surprise does not require public accounting. Keep the passion for comparison out of your heart by practicing contentment. Contentment is not complacency. It is a posture that accepts what is while creatively striving for what is possible. When surprise arrives, celebrate without measuring your value against the neighbor's harvest. Your path is particular to you. 11th, intentionally record the story. Keep a small journal or voice note where you record surprising mercies and the details surrounding them. Who was present, what you did in response, what you felt. Over months and years, these entries form a map of providence that steadies you when storms come. Memory is a spiritual resource. The ledger of mercy trains you to remember that you were not abandoned in the past and will not be abandoned in the future. 12th, build a margin fund and a margin time plan. Margin is built in two currencies, money and time. Even small, regular deposits into a margin fund create a breathing space that preserves your joy when surprise arrives. Likewise, calendar margin, an hour a day unplanned, a weekend kept private, ensures you have the bandwidth to steward new responsibilities. Margin is sacred. It is the soil in which surprise can grow without suffocating you. 13th, attend to the body. Surprises test the body's capacity just as they test the soul's posture. When life shifts quickly, prioritize sleep, hydration, and movement. Physical rhythms anchor emotional resilience. A body well tended is a better steward of surprise because it has the energy and clarity to make sober choices. Let rest be a first discipline, not a reward you delay. 14th, forgive yourself for past mismanagement. If you have misused previous blessings, do not let shame become a barrier to receiving what comes now. Confess, repent, and create guardrails. Shame can be useful if it leads to constructive change. It is crippling when it keeps you from new stewardship. Practice zero tolerance for self punishment. Instead, institute practical measures that prevent repetition and invite better habits. 15th, use surprise to invest in learning. A sudden provision is a fine time to purchase knowledge, a short course, a mentor, a book that teaches stewardship, a financial counselor. Investing in learning multiplies the value of resources because it changes the way you manage them. Education turns transient reward into enduring capacity. Treat part of every new blessing as tuition for growth. 16th, practice spiritual discernment about dreams. When surprise aligns with a latent dream, do not rush to equate possibility with permission. Discern whether the dream is mature enough for execution and whether you possess the capacity to steward it now. Dreams can be seeds that require years of tending. Use prayer, counsel, and test runs to determine readiness. Wisdom tempers enthusiasm. Faith animates action. 17th, hold fast to the community of witness. Invite at least one person, a friend, a mentor, a trusted advisor, to hold you accountable in how you use new resources. Accountability is not intrusion. It is protection against pride, isolation, and poor choices. Let that person speak truth about spending, giving, and pacing. A second set of eyes often sees the pitfalls your joy blinds you to. 18th, craft a gratitude ritual that scales. When blessings come, scale your practice of gratitude outward. Write a public note of thanks where appropriate. Host a small meal, or create a one-time offering that blesses a cause you love. Ritualize thanks so that it becomes part of your spiritual architecture, not merely an occasional reaction. Scaled gratitude builds a culture of generosity in your life. 19th, prepare for humility in publicity. If surprise draws attention, social media, curious neighbors, even opportunistic requests, pre-plan how you will respond. A simple script: I am grateful. I'm planning carefully and asking for counsel. This protects you from doing too much under pressure and helps maintain dignity in public life. The script preserves careful stewardship under scrutiny. 20th, remember the deepest economy, eternal impact. Use temporal surprises to invest in things that outlast you. Mentoring a youth, funding education, supporting restorative justice, building community structures that endure. The truest measure of stewardship is how well your life and resources bend toward the flourishing of others beyond your lifespan. Beloved, let these practices be a garden you tend starting today. Not all at once, but one small habit at a time. 5 breaths of attention each morning, one line of gratitude every evening, a set aside for giving, a boundary for rest. Over time, they knit together into a resilient life that receives surprise with grace and returns blessing to the world. Now breathe. Feel the quiet hum of possibility under your ribs. Whether the surprise arrives at dawn or in slow seasons, you are being equipped to be both grateful and wise. Walk gently into what comes, steward it with courage, and let the life you live be a map showing others how to receive mercy without losing their souls.